Hey everybody, Jamie Griffin here. Welcome to today's video about budgeting tips for couples. So today I'm going to share with you 3 tips going to help you get on the same page with your budget, to help you make your budget more freeing and a lot less restrictive, because budgets I know can feel restrictive sometimes, and to really create space in your budget to invest in each other, your relationship, and essentially make it so you like budgeting a little bit more. My wife Jenna and I use these exact 3 tips to help us get on the same page in budgeting, and especially in the really early stages, helped us start enjoying budgeting a lot more in a time when budgeting wasn't a lot of fun and there's a lot of tears shed. So I hope these tips are helpful for you and help you and your partner get on the same page, create a little bit more freedom, and help you really start to invest in each other and make budgeting more of a fun experience and help you reach your goals a little bit faster. The first tip I have for you today to help you get on the same page in budgeting with your spouse is to communicate. I cannot stress this enough, how important it is to communicate about your budget. So a few things that is important, I think, to communicate about with your budget is goals. So what goals do you have with your budget? Are you starting a budget to help you pay off debt, to help save money, start investing in retirement? What are the big financial goals that you have? And how can you use your budget to help you meet them faster, or just meet them in general if it seems like a really outlandish goal, like paying off debt, because debt can be suffocating and really have a control on your life and really how you feel about money. How can you get rid of that, and when do you want to get rid of it? Set some goals about how you want to do that. Maybe you're using your budget to help you build up an emergency fund because you're just worried about the next time your car starts making funny noises, or something happening in your house that you have to pay for, a pipe bursting, a water heater going out. Maybe it's if you have kids, your kid getting into an accident, breaking their arm, like playing with their friends, falling out of a tree. All these things that kids do that might end up in hospital bills or medical expenses. If you're worried about the next big thing that might hurt your budget, starting an emergency fund could be a really awesome goal for you to set as a couple, and setting one that makes sense for you, that you feel comfortable with. So if it's $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, how can you get on the same page to start working towards that goal and using your budget as a tool to do that? Another thing that it's important to communicate about with your significant other is your account. So when my wife and I got married, we decided we wanted to share accounts and have all of our accounts shared. My money is her money is my money. That was what we felt was really important for us. So that there was no secret money laying around, that we were both contributing equally to our marriage and our finances, and that we could maximize our money to the best of our ability. So if you want to get on the same page and combine accounts and finances, you can do that. If you're choosing that you don't want to combine finances, communicating about a system that really works the best for you and your spouse or your significant other or your partner. I keep saying spouse. I keep meaning to say partner. Whatever works best for you and your partner. Another thing to communicate about is, what are your priorities in budgeting? Like, what is it really important for you to spend money on that brings you value, that brings you joy, that helps you reach those goals faster? For us, it was really important for us, I'll talk about this more later, but to invest in a date night for each other. We knew we want to have a date night every single week, and we want to make sure that we had money in our budget to do that. So we set aside, right now I think we do $75 a month, and so we don't do any lavish, incredible out to eat dates, but we make sure we build in a little bit of money every single month for a date, because that was really important to us. It was really important for us to set aside money for paying off debt. It was really important for us to set aside money for our 5-year anniversary trip to Ireland. So we put those categories in our budget because we value them. It was a budget that was based off of our values, our priorities, and our goals. And then the last thing that I think is important to communicate, or a way to communicate, is to have budget meetings. I don't know, if your work, you probably have meetings about all kinds of things that are going on at your job. As a teacher, I have meetings all the time so that me and our other staff are on the same page and know what's happening in our school and how we can best support our students. I think it's important to do the same thing with your budget. Meet with your partner consistently, if that's once a week, once a month, 2 times a month, whatever that looks like for you and your partner. Set up those meetings so that you can talk through your finances, upcoming expenses for the month, because each month is a little bit different. Upcoming expenses, upcoming things that you want to save money for, If you're communicating about those things on a regular, consistent basis, your budget's going to be really front of mind. So you're going to be thinking about it as you're going about your day. And I think that can be really healthy and really beneficial to you and your spouse, reaching the goals that you want to reach and communicating really consistently and effectively with each other. The next tip that I have for helping make your budget, this one helps make your budget a little bit more freeing and less restrictive. And I loved it when we started doing this. We set up a personal allowance in our budget for each of us. So I remember we were driving home one day and we were driving the car and we felt like our budget was so tight, we were being squeezed, and we had no freedom to do anything that we wanted. It was only our bills and only paying off debt, and that was it. And so my wife, in tears on the way home from work or the store, brought up this idea of, what if we allowed ourselves a certain amount of money every month that we could each spend as like a personal allowance, guilt-free, no strings attached, buy whatever you want with it, or don't buy whatever you want with it, save it up. But it allowed us to have a little bit more freedom in our budget and the things that we spent money on. It started off as just $25. So if I wanted to go buy a coffee at Starbucks, I could do that. If I wanted to go buy something for my bike, gear for my bike, I could do that, and it didn't affect our other goals. It didn't affect our other budget. My wife could go have drinks with her friends or go out for late night sushi. Thursdays is half price sushi, and she loved to do that with her friends. So we can start investing in some of those things that we wanted to, without any strings attached, without hurting our budget, without needing to communicate with each other about those expenses. We had $25 that we could just go spend. And this was fluctuated depending on our budget and the season and what we're saving for. Right now we're at $50 a month, which isn't a ton, but I know other people who do the same thing. They'll give a personal budget of $100 a month or $150 a month. We found that that helps free up money and make us feel freer and better about budgeting in general. So set up a personal allowance, see how you like it. Start maybe small and then grow it from there, but make sure it fits into your budget and doesn't detract from some of your other goals. All right, and then the third and final tip I have for you to budgeting tip for couples is to create space in your budget for each other, both together and separately. So one way we did that was with our personal allowance, but there are a lot of other ways to do it. And I think it's important to invest in each other and yourselves because you matter. Like you are your relationship is important. And if you let your budget become bigger than your relationship, I think you're going to really suffer and budget's going to be really hard for you. So one of the things that you can do to start investing in each other and creating space in your budget is to create space for hobbies that really matter to you. My wife loves to bake and she's awesome at it, by the way. So I get all the benefits of when she does want to bake and when we make room for that. Get to eat delicious cakes and brownies and pies and different things. So I love when my wife bakes, and we put $25 a month into our budget if she wants to bake something. So it doesn't hurt other parts of our budget, and it's a small amount. But when she gets the craving to bake, she can do that. She doesn't have to. She actually usually always checks in with me. But there's $25 in her budget every single month, so she can invest in something that brings her joy and fulfillment and is really relaxing and calming for her. Another thing that we did was that we made date night a priority. We want to make sure we had money every single month for date night, so we put that into our budget. I know I've already mentioned that, but I think it's important to have dates even amidst having kids and having really busy lives. Investing in each other and setting aside money for that is a really important way to be on the same page with budgeting and really enjoy the fruits of your budget. One more thing that I started doing a couple years ago was my wife loves getting gifts. Receiving gifts is one of her love languages, and sometimes that's hard to do on a budget because you want to save money. You have specific places your money is going. And so what I started doing was I put a category in our budget, and I didn't even tell my wife what category that was, but I started funneling money into our savings every single month and keeping track of how much was there. And so if I wanted to buy a gift for my wife, I could do that, and it didn't really hurt our budget. I think right now I put in $25 or $50 a month into this little side budget, and so it slowly builds up, and I can just buy gifts for my wife out of there, and it's super helpful. We also just have a category in our budget that we call love languages. So if we want to buy gifts for each other, we can do that. It's only, I think, $25 or $50 a month. It's not a lot, but it's a little bit. It frees up our budget. It helps us invest in each other and the things that matter to us. And a lot of times what matters to us is just spending time together and being together and showing each other that we're thinking of each other. Okay, everybody, that's all I've got. I hope you enjoyed this tip on budgeting for beginners, specifically budgeting tips for couples. Remember to communicate, make space in your budget for each other, and that personal allowance really does a lot for you. One really great way to do that is with cash envelopes. So if you want to learn how to get cash envelopes started up, I've got a video on that as well. Make sure to watch that. Otherwise, remember to hit that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up, and when you hit subscribe, remember to ding that little bell so you get notified every time I come up with a new video on how to budget, save money, and get yourself out of debt. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you next time.